Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. When you see this video, I will be in Virginia with my family and my fiance, giving thanks and enjoying family. But we have a very special message for Thanksgiving. Personally, I am incredibly thankful for you, for our community, but also the community of partnerships we've gotten with vendors and individuals throughout the past 2 years of Faithbox. Two of those individuals specifically have become friends. Jared Wilson, who wrote the book Jesus Swagger and is a pastor and entrepreneur down in the Franklin, Tennessee area, and Jefferson Bethke, who is did an incredible spoken word video on YouTube a while ago, and since has become a very amazing speaker and author. And he actually lives all the way out in Maui with his family. I asked them to put together a video for us talking about the meaning of Thanksgiving to them and maybe some of their favorite scriptures around Thanksgiving. So we have that for you today. They're gonna share that. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Here's Jared on the meaning of Thanksgiving to him.
Hey guys, this is Jared, and I wanted to make a quick video on my favorite Bible verse as it pertains to Thanksgiving, which is James 1:17. Right now, I'm sitting outside my home while my beautiful wife and son are inside preparing an incredible Thanksgiving feast. And James 1:17 comes to mind when we're talking about thankfulness, because it says that every good and perfect gift comes from the God above. What we have to realize as Christians is that everything we have in life is not really ours in the first place, but instead, it's being loaned to us by God, and it's our calling to be good stewards of everything that He has given us. So whether that's the clothes on your back, the roof over your head, the cars that we drive, the finances that we have, the food on our tables, the health that we have in our bodies, everything is a gift from God, and we're called to be good stewards of each of those gifts. So remember today to be thankful, not just for what you have, but for who gave it to you, who has loaned it to you, and that is the God above.
And here's Jefferson on the meaning of Thanksgiving to him.
Hey guys, Jeff here. Now, in light of Thanksgiving, I just wanted to share a couple quick thoughts on not Thanksgiving the holiday, but Thanksgiving as the state of worship in our heart as believers. And the two things that stick out to me with Thanksgiving coming up that I've tried to learn to cultivate in my own life that I have seen has been helpful is the first is understanding what thankfulness is. Now, first of all, we see only two places in the New Testament where God specifically says what His will for our life is. Now, think about that, right? A lot of times we think, you know, we're trying to search for God's will like crazy. We're trying to search like crazy of what college should I go to, who should I date, who should I marry, all these different big questions, when I think the honest answer is that God's a good and gracious Father, and He wants to lead us on a certain path, but He also gives us freedom to choose in that path, in those boundaries, just like a good and gracious Father. But there is two examples where He actually specifically says, this is what I want you to do. This is my will for your life. The first one we see is that it's God's will to abstain from sexual immorality, that we would be sexually pure, that we would understand what it meant to be in the covenant of marriage and stuff of that nature. But the second one is really interesting. The second one is that this is God's will for your life, that you would be thankful. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. It could read a little different depending on your translation, but how fascinating is that God specifically says, you know, like so many of us, it's like we're dying to know that answer. What's God's will for my life? He tells us that we would be thankful, that we would understand that everything is a gift from Him, and we can roll that back up into worship and say, you are good, you are amazing, I am thankful for you and what you've done for me in my life, in my marriage, in my job, in everything. And that is what it truly means to be thankful. And that segues into the second thing, which I think is really interesting, is that thankfulness is actually, I think, especially in the 21st century, the secret to joy. It's the secret to contentment. It's the secret to what it means to worship as a follower of Jesus. It's a state of the heart to be constantly thankful. Now, there's a spectrum. On one side, you have thankfulness, that's the secret of joy. That's kind of the heart of what it means to follow Jesus. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have sin, and that would be discontentment or entitlement, meaning I deserve this, I should have gotten this, and I get what I want, or something of that nature. There's the spectrum that we're all on, but God's calling us closer and closer to thankfulness. And notice how different those are, right? Like entitlement, if you don't get something, you say, man, I should have gotten that, I deserve that, and you'll never find joy because you think you deserve it anyways. You think everything is owed to you, you think you should have gotten that, when thankfulness is the opposite, right? Thankfulness, if you're truly thankful, you even wake up in the morning and are thankful that your legs work, that you can get out of bed, that you have oxygen in your lungs, that you are in an awesome place, a beautiful place. You have a great relationship with Jesus. You have a great relationship with your friends, whatever it is. And I'm not saying that we need to be thankful for the bad things, but I do think there's something to be said of being thankful in the bad things, if that makes sense. So we don't need to say, oh God, thank you so much for making my life miserable these last couple years, but we can say, you know what, God, maybe you're trying to teach me something. Maybe you want me to learn something, and so I want to be thankful in this because I don't want to miss that. And also, we can always be thankful, whether it's good or bad in our life, for His presence. We can be thankful that even in the bad times, even in the suffering, He is with us. He will never forsake us, and He will always, always be with us. And so those are just a couple little things I wanted to give you for this Thanksgiving week. Understand that Thanksgiving is not just a holiday, but it's actually a state of the heart as followers of Jesus. It's the essence of worship, and it's the secret of joy. So I hope you take those things with you this morning and you begin to cultivate day by day, counting your blessings, being thankful, and keep turning your heart to God. That's all I got. Take care, you guys.
Personally, for me, Thanksgiving is a time to reflect and really think about the past year or so and all the blessings that God has given me and my family and my friends. A very worthwhile prayer practice over Thanksgiving for me is, instead of asking God for blessings, thanking Him for the blessings. Instead of asking God for more, thanking Him for what I have. And just including thanks in every part of the prayer that normally might be an ask. So changing those asks into thanks and sticking with that. Try sticking with it all weekend for you guys. See how it changes your prayer life. I think it's a good habit to get into on a regular basis, and Thanksgiving is the perfect time to double down and practice that. I want to share a verse that is especially relevant. It's something that came up in my men's group, and I think it's incredible. You've probably heard this verse before. It's very popular. It's Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. I can do all this through Him who gives me strength. Or some translations, it sounds more like, I can do all this through Christ who strengthens me. But I think we need to back it up a full verse to really understand this in context and the full power of this scripture. I'm going to read it off my phone for you guys. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through Him who gives me strength. A lot of people just use verse 13, I can do all this through Him who gives me strength. I can do all this through Christ who strengthens me. But they forget that that is in the context of giving thanks for what you have and being content with what you've been given and the blessings that God has already given you. I have learned the secret of being content in every situation. Jefferson said something to the effect of, you don't have to be thankful for the situation, but you can be thankful in the situation. I think that's the heart of this verse as well. Whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. Regardless of your situation, we have an incredible God that we can be thankful for, and there's definitely things in our lives that we can be thankful for no matter where we are. It's all about our own perspective and giving thanks. And I think that is the lesson for Thanksgiving, and that is what I'm going to leave you guys with. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful Thanksgiving holiday with your family, your friends, your church community, whoever that may be. Remember to give thanks to Him today. Take some time to give your soul rest this weekend, and we will see you on Monday.